the fuck can I possibly drive to make this the worst idea I've ever had?
Wait, so this thing doesn't have a intro at all?
No.
Oh. Well, okay then. Game. Let's see here. We're in English, dynamic camera, ghost. We're going to do miles an hour because I'm an American that refuses to conform to the rest of the world. Inclinometer? What the fuck?
Angle.
Oh. Okay, when I think inclines, I mean like, are you driving up a hill or driving down a hill? Automatic, clutch automatic, steering wheel angle 900. Wow, that's a lot of things I can dick with. Sound, music, sound effects. Wait, graphics. Okay. Drift, tandem drift, time attack, training, garage.
I would just do regular drift because time attack is impossible with the starter cars. Also, you can, when you're at that main menu screen, you have 3 cars available.
Oh, let's hear. So I've got an 8.6, I've got an NA Miata, and a fucking Lada.
It's supposed to be the Volvo.
That's... no, Riker, this is a Lada. This is not a Volvo.
I thought it was like that Volvo from, whatever the Nebula Turbo is.
Nope. Body kits.
Oh yeah, this sounds like a great idea, Riker. Alright, so I just learned how to drive with no assist in a Dodge Neon. Now let's try it with a Saline S7, because that's gonna go so well.
Well, of course it is. Vinyls. Are decorating cars, like, completely free? Like vinyls and shit?
Yeah, it takes a speed heat approach to it, I guess.
Okay, that's good. We are not saving changes. Dyno stand. Please change your modification.
Also, the game is a port of a mobile game, so
yeah,
the
I kind of
economy in the game is a little ass backwards.
Right. Oh, here's all the cars. So we got 8.6, that ND Miata, BMW, another BMW, S13, Charger, Volvo station wagon, Altezza. Oh, you can't even view the stuff that are locked. Well, diddle-da-dang. Okay. Okay, drift races. Cool. Let's just dive into this without thinking. That was just with a fucking Lada.
This is a recipe for disaster. I'm being trash compacted by a Cadillac and a SLR.
Oh shit. Come on. More! I need more angle! Damn it.
It'll actually get easier once you've done like a couple of like mock events and acquired the drift mod, which actually allows the car to drift. Otherwise, just throw the handbrake and hope for the best. Until that point, that is.
And hope the Lada doesn't self-destruct. Got it.
Oh no, self-destructing is not really much of a risk, at least not from spinning too much. No, your enemy is just exclusively that the car won't want to spin.
Whoa.
Alright, so I've done a lap in the S7, a car that I've literally never driven on this game, and I haven't even seen in a video game in I don't know how long. I didn't completely fucking die.
Wait, hang on, what car?
Saline S7.
Oh, right. I Actually, I think it's pronounced Celine.
I don't fucking S7. All right.
That car was on Bruce Almighty. Fuck. Bruce Almighty is a film starring Jim Carrey where Morgan Freeman plays God, and he's like, "Oh, why is my life so hard? I wish I were God. Then I'd do everything right." And then Morgan Freeman goes, "Fuck, dude, you want to be God? Cool. Here you go." And just gives Jim, and then just gives Jim Carrey just all his powers just for shits and giggles. Cool. I got almost $2,000 from awkwardly trying to drift a Lada. Good tip. Use the handbrake to start drifting quickly. Thank you, game. Very cool.
Oh, the hints on that game don't get any better.
Remember, the car is heavy.
No, there's one that says, like, cars with the racing modification are not suited for drifting.
Really? Yes! Yes, yes, yeah!
And also the that makes me immediately think of the Fast and the Furious PS2 game, where all the loading screens are like most of them are really in-depth explanations of the different drivetrains in the game and what you should or shouldn't use them for. So that they say things like front rear cars can be used in destination races and top speed battles or drift races, and there's like four-wheel drive cars are considered to be too stable for some people's driving styles. Should experiment. There's one like these are all like fucking paragraph loading screen tips. Probably good. Lengthy loading screens, but there's just one that just like FF cars are not suited for drift battles.
You mean not? You mean not even if we put trays under the rear wheels? People actually do that. They'll like put trays underneath the rear wheels to try and drift FF cars.
Yeah, it's front engine tray wheel drive.
Yeah.
Okay, that seemed too easy. Just find a car that'll just absolutely fuck me up. If a Celine S7 couldn't do it, I don't know what the hell will.
The fucking Sizeta.
I don't have that car, I don't think.
Okay. I wonder if they're still making those, like, made to order.
Why don't you ask, Kappa?
Well, I mean, I could open up the internet right now and have a look, but, I'm kind of busy. Drifting an awkward communist-built car. Well, okay then. Oh, and apparently a new update for Need for Speed Heat dropped, and with it, they've got the McLaren F1 Longtail. My favorite one!
Agree, disagree.
Well, disagree we shall. I like
It
the
probably
Longtail.
doesn't help that it's been the short tail in every game that I've played that it's been in.
The Longtail was in High Stakes, that's all I remember. Oh, and it's also in Gran Turismo 4. Well, to be fair, High Stakes is one of the... it's... To me, it's a step down from 3. Because it's not as free, and it's a lot more grounded than 3. And there's damage involved. And you involuntarily have to pay for it after every race.
So in other words, it was Pro Street before Pro Street was Pro Street.
You know what? That's actually a pretty good thing. That's a pretty good description of it. And that shit only got worse as you started driving more expensive cars for pretty obvious reasons. Like, the low tier cars in the game are like the Mercedes SLK and the BMW Z3. If you take like a full on, like, complete tumble, like, smash into a fucking concrete barrier, flip it all over the place, land it on its roof, everything, the repair bill will not come nearly as close as if you accidentally scratch the fucking side of a McLaren F1.
I don't care if you drive this SLK 55 off top of Mystic Peaks. How dare you even brush a fucking sidewalk with the McLaren F1?
Just about.
Also, like, despite playing Gran Turismo 4, forgot the McLaren Longtail was in Gran Turismo 4.
Yeah, it's in there as a BMW to get around licensing issues. Oh shit. No time to itch my nose. Gotta
There's
just keep...
also
Oh.
well, both of them, rather, are in Project Cars 2.
Was it? It's been a while since I've opened up Project Cars 2.
Well, I should know, because,
yeah, you have a series in there.
Well, that, and I was also, like... So, we were planning on reworking the game's, or, like, ARC's Endurance Championship. We were planning on reworking that, and I was asked by AJ, specifically me, to test the different categories of, like, cars, and one of those categories was GT1, which is where you would find the McLaren F1 GTR.
Right.
And if you're curious, the results of that were the Mercedes CLK fucking stomped everything. Toyota GT1 had kind of close second. Then it was the McLaren, and then came I don't remember the exact order. It was the Ferrari F50 LM, then it was the Panoz Esperante, and then the R390 Nissan was the last place.
Panoz Esperante.
Oh, so I got the fucking weird-ass manufacturer name right, but I couldn't pronounce Esperante right, because I forgot what I was saying. Like midway through.
Could have been Panoz. Oh shit! Oh, that was just a... Ouch. Disqualified low speed. Cool. Awesome.
Yeah, those tandem ones, I wouldn't even try.
I'm gonna figure this shit out.
No, like, I sat there, Tyler was there, I sat there for like 3 straight hours trying to complete the first one, and I said, and I quote, "Motherfucker, I am not Tanner Faust, get out of here with the shit." Apparently it gets easier when you have a faster car, as I was trying to do with the 8.6, but... I don't care.
Critical angle.
I get like you get more money from doing the regular drift events anyway if you get a big enough combo.
Let's see how impossible the fucking time attack ones are.
Honestly, not that hard.
You were literally telling me that it's practically impossible.
No, tandem isn't.
Oh.
Time attack is actually pathetically easy depending on the track.
Okay. Time for me to pretend I'm goddamn Keiichi Tsuchiya.
The only thing is to note is that the racing mod is probably necessary.
But Riker, what if the parts / modification are not available with this vehicle?
I know it is.
Gran Turismo 2, sorry.
Why did that take so long?
I figured there was probably about a 50-50 shot of you getting it.
I did pick up Gran Turismo, but it didn't occur to me you were referring to racing modification until afterwards. I thought you were just saying that because of, like...
You said, you said you need racing modification, it's necessary, and I was like, but what if the... Yeah. You're picking up what I'm putting down. I was thinking about the error message and you try and install a part that doesn't work on that car, but it says, at least in Gran Turismo 4, it says, cannot equip these parts with the car. Oh, righto. Yeah, I was totally talking about 2.
I also feel very stupid because I spent, like, all of the money on the NA tuning just because fuck it, and then didn't realize I could put a supercharger in for 20% of the price and get, like, almost the same horsepower.
Well, that's a bronze because I spun my ass out. Hey, I'm a prize winner. Wait, so you have to... Okay, you can unlock, like... Hold on.
Yes, you unlock your courses by buying them.
Yo, that's fucked up.
And the way to grind on that game, from what I've learned at least, is to do,
That sounds that sounds like it'd be exhausting, honestly.
Well, I mean, you kind of have to, because it is, mobile game economy, but yeah, microtransactions are not, but...
Hang it, hell yeah.
Well, it's not the Sazetta, but it's certainly a family of car that is known for basically trying to kill its driver.
I said a what?
I said it's not the Sazetta, or however you pronounce it.
Oh, righto.
Also, I made the wrong joke. Not killing its
Okay,
driver.
when you say... Okay. I thought you said Izeta, so I'm thinking like this fucking weird small BMW from the 50s. That had like a door in the front and everything.
I know what it is. It's on Forza Horizon.
Oh, Christ.
I also, made the wrong joke. Vehicle that kills its driver is the Diablo. No, this is the vehicle that kills everyone that's not the driver. Mustangs hit crowds, alright?
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Damn it. Durifuto.
Huh, I've never seen that car appear in a race before. The concept Audi R8. I was in this little, like, family track thing.
The what?
Because nothing screams...
The Audi R8. Oh, got it.
Because nothing screams family cup like a car that technically didn't exist yet in 2004.
The concept certainly existed.
You're not gonna just buy one though, like this AI probably did.
I'm actually kind of wondering, like, if long after concept cars, you know, outlive their shelf life, if car makers just sell them. Do auto makers sell their concept cars? Is it even possible to buy a concept car? Sort of. Oh, that's actually a good point. They wouldn't be really keen on selling concept cars because there's a big case of like liability and shit. Assume like someone buys a concept car and then tries to drive it, because there's a whole bunch of like safety regulations and shit that need to be considered. And legally, for a manufacturer to be able to sell a car to the public, there needs to be at least like a crash, you know, the fucking crash testing stuff.
Well, your prized SVT Cobra didn't kill me.
You got it. Ouch.
What do you mean I got it?
I wasn't aware you bought it, or was I? I forget.
Gran Turismo 4?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I have like 110 cars in the garage. I just had this sitting around.
And I'm guessing you probably had that in your garage before you met me then.
I don't know. There was like some point in time after I'd...
That car is my fucking jam.
There was a time before, like, right after I'd basically Dad give me access to both memory cards because he didn't really use PS2 anymore. And then obviously now it's at my house. So, and I just like, after he had like 80% of the game, which is, you know, a lot of Gran Turismo 4, that, he was done with it because he didn't know how to get an F1 car.
Oh, yeah.
And then now that he does know, he just doesn't care. Mainly because it's a 24-hour Nürburgring race. And,
yeah. And not everyone's about that.
But yeah, like, he had been sitting there with like $4 million, and I basically just, since he said with his own words that he didn't really have any purpose for the game anymore, you know, just kind of have at it type thing. So I just turned into basically a motorsports sandbox. And I think that the SVT Cobra was one of like 40 cars I acquired on that whim, and this happened like, you know, mid 2019, so I definitely knew you by that point, so it was probably an inspired choice.
Right. Well, I'm a level 3 now.
Also, probably the weirdest thing, and when it comes to like, you know, Gemini's lobbies, there's always that one point in time where someone will say they should add this car, and then it turns into like a 45-minute debate of like, no, I want to see this car. Where the fuck is this car? How about this car? And just like, all this has been said before, people. Yes, we need the F-15. We get it. But I, of course, don't have even remotely normal desires for vehicles to put in the game compared to everyone else's, you know, S15 or Altezza and stuff like that. You know, I'm over here with the Gen 4 Golf, the 2004 Pontiac GTO, the Ford RS200, the Mercedes 190E, and the Mercedes SL65 as like the top 5 cars I want in GT Sport.
Of those, I would think the Ford RS200 and the fuck, what was it? What was the one you said after that one?
The 190E Mercedes.
Yes, that one. And that's primarily because of like their role in motorsports and how iconic they are. The 190E because of DTM, and then the RS200 because of Group B. I mean, shit,
And
that's
also just because there's
why...
other similar cars already in the game.
Well, I mean, the Audi Quattro, I mean, that's one of the big Group B cars. I don't know.
Right, and then we already have the E30 M3, which would be, you know, kind of a natural counterweight to the Benz 190E word in the game.
Yeah. The
kind of an honorable.
The E30 actually fits in both kind of categories because that was also used in rallying and DTM equally.
And also kind of an honorable mention, this is kind of like switched around with the SL65 too, is Barracuda. The Barracuda, not only because second favorite muscle car, but also because why is that not here, but we get the stupid X and R.
Yeah. I would expect like either the Superbird or the Cuda before that one.
I think the Gen 4 Golf would have like an okay chance. It's certainly not impossible. I mean, we've got like pretty much every generation of Corvette that's relevant, even if it's in my favorite generation.
Which generation?
Who am I kidding?
Wait, which generation is that?
5.
Oh. Mine's Gen 2, so it's technically covered.
I think I know why that is.
What? If you think it's because of Spectre, no, you're actually wrong.
I figured that was at least part of it.
Nope. I like a 420, a 1967 Corvette with a 427, and it would probably be one of my 3 if you could have any car from Chevrolet kind of thing when money's not an object. That'd be one of those cars I'd have.
Of course, bear in mind, a lot of my, my choices of cars, specifically, within a certain model family, do come from what games are they in that I played.
Mm-hmm.
The C5 Corvette was in Hot Pursuit 2 and Gran Turismo 4.
And that's the first car the cursor lands on in Need for Speed 3.
Yeah, that one too. I didn't play that one as a little kid.
I did!
It's interesting, I don't know. When it comes to comparing all of the Need for Speed games, Carbon's still my favorite, despite the fact that it doesn't really have any of the... Well, it has the RX-7, but it doesn't have the...
So does Most Wanted.
Right. It doesn't have, the correct Viper or the correct Corvette in there. It has SRT-10 and C6 Corvette, which... I don't know. I don't say I didn't like the C6 Corvette, but I think it just overstayed its welcome a little bit.
Right.
Our thing went from 2005 to 2012.
Hmm.
Like some other kind of vehicles like that I would want. One weird thing, and sometimes I often feel like I'm sort of alien for this, but the S14 is my favorite Sylvia.
S13 for me. but the S14 is also a very respectable choice. Okay, I'll be real. If you hand me the keys to just about any Sylvia, I'll be like, oh, dude, cool.
Well, any Nissan, for that matter. It's, you know, from like more than 10 years ago.
I'd be pretty interested if you gave me something kind of oddball that has been used in like drift things, but what people wouldn't classically think of. So if you hand me the keys to like a Cedric or a Gloria, I'd be like, oh, this is interesting.
Yeah, it's like, when it comes to car companies, it's, you know, obviously every company has its good and its bad, but I think there's only there's probably maybe 3 companies that I can officially say they've never had a bad car. Or if they did, it took them a long time.
Which companies? Because I bet I'll have some examples.
I'm sure you would, yeah, you have different examples. I think I know what one of your examples might be. I know they certainly have them now, but for the longest time, Dodge, until like past 2013, Dodge's
quality control is garbage.
Okay, but as far as so just think of
and
it as
Chrysler
like a
for that matter.
Level. Think of it as like a surface level drive-in video game or drive for like an hour.
Oh yeah.
Or like pleasant to look at, pleasant to drive, you know, without any kind of external things like
reliability, maintenance, that sort of shit.
Right. Like if you just had like an hour on the track with this car, no fear of repair bills or anything.
Yeah.
Or just to look at or have a poster of it in your room or something like that. Like, there wasn't a Dodge that I said was, like, not good. But of course, this is discounting vehicles that aren't, like, premium. Like, yeah.
The ones that aren't boring. The ones that aren't passenger cars.
Right, so like a Dodge minivan, yeah, that doesn't really count.
Okay.
In this conversation. If it's supposed to be a vehicle that is desirable, and even some companies manage vehicles like that that are anyway.
Well, what are your thoughts on the Mitsubishi 3000 GT and the Mitsubishi Starion?
Why is that relevant?
Because of the Dodge Stealth and the Dodge Conquest. Literally the same car.
The Dodge Conquest, but well, I mean, the 3000 GT is literally my second favorite Mitsubishi behind the Lancer 8.
Yep, that is the Dodge Stealth.
Yeah, I knew that. It's also the Eagle Talon, so...
No, it's not. No, the Eagle Talon was the Mitsubishi Eclipse, the DSM Mitsubishi Eclipse. And, for that matter, also the Plymouth Laser.
I've still never heard of the Dodge Conquest. That's a badass name, though.
Let's see here. Dodge Conquest. I've never seen a Dodge Conquest because it's old. It's from the 80s.
There was, kind of like, on the subject of older cars, this one, I'm surprised I even, like, caught on to the joke. Somebody put a picture of an old car next to the, like, Plague Inc. logo, and then they followed up with Toyota Coronavirus, and I just... They got kicked out of the
I was actually randomly thinking about that tonight when I was driving. I was like, part of it was like, okay, I'm wondering, like, Corona, the beer company, or whoever, you know, owns that whole line of brewing or whatever. I wonder what their sales figures are like for the past month because of dumbasses going, am I gonna get the coronavirus if I drink that beer?
Corona beer sales are down like 13%.
Yeah, that makes sense. Anyways, and that got me thinking about, you know, also, like, what else is called Corona? Oh, the Toyota Corona. And I was like,
I only know of this product existing exclusively from the museum pages in Gran Turismo Sport.
I get the I thought I saw one when I was driving home tonight, just getting gas out of fucking Arco. Not sure though. It was definitely like a 70s Japanese car though.
Fortunately, they all kind of looked the same then.
Sort of. Oh, hold on. Toyota Corona.
Yeah, so referring back to the
Oh hell no! No, I didn't see that.
referring to like the no bogey premium vehicles thing. Like even some of Dodge's lower tier cars, I did kind of like.
I can think of one actually. The second generation Dodge Challenger.
Is that the one that was like taken over by some other company?
No, that was a rebadged Mitsubishi Galant, I believe. It was late 70s, and hate to say it, lots of cars were turds in the late 70s. So that's probably where most of my examples for bad cars are gonna be. Like, I've got one for Ford. The fucking... the Mustang 2. Which... Huh? Well, that too. I mean, if you hit it in the back and blows up, whatever. But it's actually really mind-boggling, like, how terrible that Mustang was. And yet, it's actually, as I understand it, was one of, if not the best-selling Mustang model. I don't get that. Cheap. Yeah, and for fuck's sake. Yeah. It looks terrible. It's slow as shit because of the gas crisis. It's just, no. Bad. Bad Mustang. Bad.
Yeah, like all, yeah, because it's Dodge is like, this is of course cars that I knew about. I didn't really remember Challenger really being that kind of thing. And then that was also the exception. Like I even liked the '01 Charger that they had.
If I'm honest, are we talking about the 1999 concept?
Yeah.
I liked that one actually.
Fun fact, it was also in World Race.
I don't doubt it. That does that does kind of look very Muscle Tone-esque.
Well, except Muscle Tone was already in the movie.
Right. But I'm just saying, like, real life wise.
Really, the first like premium Dodge that I did not like. I didn't really like the. This might sound ridiculous, but I'm not a fan of the new Challenger.
I am. I like it.
It wasn't like the current gen. Like those gigantic, like fucking square taillights do not work for me.
I'd totally own a Challenger.
Part of it might be that I'm a bit salty because it's like, why make a Viper when we can just make crazy ass muscle cars?
It's a matter of what's selling, unfortunately. And I'm gonna remind you, they brought the Viper out of retirement twice so far. They took like a little break, I think, in like 2006 or something like that. And then again in like 2012, I think. So
I think the remember was like I remember it was like every 7 years was a new Viper, so it was 91, 98, 05, and 2012.
Technically, if we're going by that, it's 92, 2003, and 2013.
There's 4 generations of Viper, though?
I consider... Well, there's more generations than what I'm saying, but I mean, in general body style, like... Okay, I'd consider 92 through 2002, that's a generation. 2003 to 2011, that's another generation. And then 2013 to 2017 is 3rd gen. That's what I would consider, but they consider the convertible only ones from like 92 to 95 to be one generation, and then the GTS models from 96 to 02 to be another.
Yeah, as I just remember, I just think of it as like RT10, RT10, GTS, SRT10, and then SRT.
Right. Yeah, remember when SRT was considered its own manufacturer?
It's like RAM.
Yeah, well, okay, here's the thing. RAM is held on, but like... literally the same year that Gran Turismo 6 came out and purported that SRT was now its own manufacturer, like, that same year it outdated itself. Because SRT quickly got swept under, we're not our own thing anymore.
Yeah, so then the other 2 manufacturers that I would say had a long stretch of like really good cars was Nissan. Pretty much any car that came from Nissan in the 90s was like still a god, or still revered as a god nowadays.
Right, but the whole reason they changed that was because they were not making money off of those cars at all. They, for as popular as they were not making money in the slightest. So they got the fucking Renault chairman to kind of take over in the, like, early 2000s, and they managed to get, like, a whole bunch of, you know, passenger volume type cars into the thing. But because it's Renault, aka the French we're dealing with here, the reliability is gonna go to shit. So, I mean, I'd buy a Nissan, but, like, older Nissan, personally. But they're currently restructuring things because the old CEO fucking fled to Lebanon in a box meant for audio equipment because the fucking Japanese government wanted his fucking head. Yeah, so that, and there was a big kind of hubbub about he was kind of sapping profits from the company. He was embezzling shit. So, plus other kind of business decisions he made were sketchy. And one of the main criticisms was the fact that they barely, like, changed model generations or, you know, like, for example, how long have we had the R35 and the 370Z looking pretty much the same as they have been? So
they still look the same.
Yeah, exactly. So, as it turns out, Nissan's trying to stay afloat because currently they're financially in a free fall at the moment. The next generation Z car is a thing they're working on. Haven't heard anything about a potential, like, next GTR, but things like that are coming, as I understand it.
So it's pretty much like... I was going to say my 3 manufacturers. No, I don't think Mazda is any kind of instability. But Mazda's not the 3rd manufacturer, by the way, because, like, there have not been many great Mazdas since 2006.
I mean, the Miata is still a solid car. I mean, that's me though.
Yeah, the ND is, well, car to own, yeah, but like that was when Mazda broke its streak. Was I did not like the NC, and it shows because you see the NA and NV talked about, but nobody remembers the NC. The only time I ever think about it is when I see the out of place advertisements for it on Carbon.
Oh, I remember. She teaches CPR at the hospital now, and she used to be really involved with Boy Scouts. She used to drive a silver NC. But yeah, that's pretty much all. That's pretty much the only person I know that's owned an actual Miata. There was a really neat black NB like a year ago that I saw for sale for $4,000 that I potentially could have bought, but it's like, I can't really be going off buying cars. That and my old man would not be thrilled about me driving a Miata. Mustang he could live with. Miata, no, he couldn't. Cause it's so small, you'd get in a wreck and then you'd die and shit like that. He doesn't even like me driving my actual daily driver because it's a small car, quote unquote. Which, okay, it is, but still.
You can tell him, alright, I'll get a new car, but you gotta help me pay for it. See what...
Yeah.
See where that gets him. Answer
well,
nowhere.
Well, he really wants me to drive something like a fucking Honda Pilot or a Toyota RAV4, and it's just like... I mean, in a push come to shove, I mean, yeah, they'd probably be solid cars, but I tend to shy away from big vehicles. I'd rather drive a sedan of some sort.
Like what I keep telling my parents, like, first order of when I get my license and such, I will never ever drive an SUV. And if I drive anything that's large, it has to be a pickup. And preferably not a very big one either.
Like a Ford Ranger or something like that.
Ford Ranger, Dakota, etc.
Toyota Tacoma. Ooh. I'd actually, of like cars I'd buy new, I wouldn't buy new pretty much ever, but wouldn't mind actually driving a brand new Tacoma. The Corolla hatch also looks kind of neat.
I've long said that my ideal Minnesota daily driver would be a Subaru Legacy.
Yeah.
That would be like, reasonable expectations.
Yeah, my old man doesn't really like those because head gaskets. And I mean, sort of valid-ish concern because, boxer engines and then trying to change the heads, that's significantly more of a pain in the dick. I wonder what car Taylor's gonna go for with her first vehicle. Especially with me fucking naysaying a whole bunch of the shit she was finding. I am the DP man. Fuck. I am the donut man.
I am the dead man. Yeah, so it's like what I was joking with, like, before I brought up Mazda, was, two of my three favorite car companies are basically competing to see who's going to be the first to hit zero.
Oh god.
Because if Nissan's in a financial free fall, and I know Dodge isn't too far away from that,
Well,
I think Chrysler is going to go, and then everything else under that wing is going to go with it.
Well, actually, Chrysler's saving grace is they're currently owned by Fiat, which is a really fucking massive company. I mean, literally.
I've heard nothing about new Chryslers in the last like 4 years.
Right, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're in financial straits, I don't think.
But I assume Dodge is therefore also under Fiat by that extension?
Yeah. Dodge, Jeep, and Chrysler are all technically owned by Fiat right now because Dodge and Jeep are subsidiaries of Chrysler and Fiat owns Chrysler. Actually, a lot of the launches now that they're selling, I mean, the Chrysler 300, that's the Lancia Thema.
The what?
Wait, hold on. Lancia Thema. Well, like I said, it's a Chrysler 300. That's just what it's sold as in Italy. It's a Chrysler here, it's a Lancia in Europe. Let's see what other ones. Lancia Delta. I wonder if that's a...
It's different from Lancia, right?
It's actually how you're supposed to pronounce it. The three letters CIA in Italian are supposed to be pronounced cha.
So they're still making Lancias? Like, it's the same company that made the Stratos and Delta?
Yeah. It's...
I thought they died in, like, 1992.
Oh, hell no. Hell no, man. It's just the Delta is the only one that people give it... Well, okay, the Delta and the Stratos are the only ones that people give a shit about.
The only ones that aren't just a rebrand of something else.
I'm still trying to figure out if they still make the Delta. Which I know it lasted for a long time. I know they've made at least one in the past 10 years. Oh, would you look at that. 1979 to 1999, and then 2008 to 2014, the Lancia Delta. So the Lancia Delta is not a thing anymore. Wait, what the fuck was that? Oh my god. They made a Delta Spider Integrale. They made a fucking Lancia Delta as a goddamned convertible. Hang on, hold on. Okay, Facebook. Fucking take forever, will you?
I actually, like, started looking at myself, and one of the little, like, related questions is, like, is Lancia dead? It's mostly thought of a dead company, but it still exists. It only has one car in the entire lineup, the Ypsilon, and that could still be thought of as a slightly more luxurious 500. And more than that, it's only sold as a Lancia in Italy.
Oh god. Holy shit, what the fuck? Yeah, that's the only... What? I thought they had a lot more cars they were making before... hold the fucking phone here. Thema 2. Yeah, that's the Chrysler 300. Oh god. Okay, the Flavia, that's the Chrysler 200. The Lancia Voyager. Can't imagine what car that must be.
That's ironic, too. Because I actually have a Delta on GT4.
That's crazy. Alright, well,
It's a car that everyone actually usually says should be in GT Sport. Especially with the Stratos in the game, how we don't have a Delta yet.
pretty sure we do, actually.
Yeah, we do. I have one. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Do you mean like do you mean like the S4? You mean like the super turbocharged badass one from the 80s?
No, I totally meant that. I totally meant the HF normal one, but I forgot it is already in the game because no one uses it.
Gemini and his boys certainly don't use it.
Right, which means as far as I'm concerned, no one uses it.
Alright, I think I'm gonna stop futzing around on the menus here and cut the stream.